So we saw that the name Havaya Yud Kei Vav Kei is not only found in the soul, the Jewish soul, but it's also in the Jewish body. Remember that? That the shape of the body is in the shape of Yud Kei Vav Kei. How so? The head is a Yud, the body itself is a Vav, and then the hands and the toes, the fingers and the toes are the two Heys, because a Hey is five fingers, 5 toes are the Heys. And the Rebbe Marash, who taught this idea, said, okay, you might say we have 10 fingers and 10 toes. That's because the letter Hey, if you spell it out completely, it's Hey Hey. So it's 2 Heys. So that's why we have 10 fingers and 10 toes, to correspond to the 2 Heys of the letter Hey. So you might ask, well, hang on a minute, why are we getting into 2 Heys then? Why do we need to spell it out? I mean, it doesn't work then if it's 2 Heys instead of 1 Hey. Why are we spelling out the word Hey? So the Rebbe explains that no, actually that's a part of the word. But part of the concept here is that there have to be 2 Heys. You have to spell out the Hey to get this. How so? Let's have a look. We're on the line, page Ayin Reish Dalet. The 7th line down starts with Hey Hey there. V'yesh Lema. V'yesh Lema. Dalidei ha'yisaf ha'sham misper eser etzbais hu keneged Hey Hey b'miluyoy mitoysev bir b'chlolus ha'inyan d'tziru shem havaya shebeguf. So the Rebbe says that we could say that through this addition, that the Rebbe Marash explains that the fact we have 10 fingers and 10 toes corresponding to the complete spelling of the letter Hey, that actually adds explanation to the whole concept of the fact that the body is in the shape of Yud Kei Vav Kei. In other words, it has to be that way. Why? It's known, the concept of miluyim, of spelling out letters, which are called miluyim, filling in the gap. Miluy means to fill in. When you fill in a letter, meaning you spell it out completely. The reason why the filling in of the letter is hidden, meaning, brackets, like for example, the letter Aleph. The Aleph part of it is revealed. But the Lamed and the Pei that are included in the Aleph are hidden. What does it mean, hidden? In the letter Aleph, what do we pronounce when we read the letter Aleph? Just the Aleph bit. The Lamed and the Pei, which spells out Aleph, you don't pronounce the Aleph and the Pei. The Lamed and the Pei, you only pronounce the Aleph. Yeah? With me? So the letter Aleph is Aleph Lamed Pei. But it's only the Aleph that you pronounce when you're reading Aleph. The Lamed and the Pei are hidden in the Aleph. They're not pronounced, they're not said. Why is that? What?
You hear the Lamed and the Pei. They're not.
No, not when you're reading. No. When you're reading the letter Aleph. When there's a letter Aleph in a word.
Oh, right. Not when you pronounce it.
No, when you read the letter Aleph in a word, like there's a word Adam. So Adam starts with Aleph. You don't read it Aleph. You don't read Lamed and Pei. You read the letter Aleph. Just the Lamed and the Pei of the Aleph are there, but they're hidden because that's not pronounced. So after the brackets. So why is that? What's the concept that a letter has a part of it that is pronounced and a part of it that is not pronounced, that is hidden behind it? Because the filling in of the letter, those letters are filling in the Aleph, the Lamed and the Pei, they are the inner aspect of that letter, the essence of that letter that is above being revealed. So every letter has the letter that it is, and then it has the hidden part of that letter, the inner aspect of that letter, that is hidden behind the scenes.
With Hey is the...
So we'll see with Hey.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? What makes up an Aleph? Aleph Lamed Pei. The Aleph part of the Aleph is just the surface of the Aleph. The Lamed Pei of the Aleph is the hidden, deeper, inner aspect of the Aleph. And therefore it's not pronounced because you don't see it. Because the inner aspect of anything is not seen, is not apparent, it's not on the surface. It's the deeper reality of it. It's the hidden part of it. So, Ubedugmas Adam. Here's a mashal, a metaphor to understand this concept of the revealed as opposed to the hidden. Ubedugmas Adam shemadaber eze inyam. Like a person who's speaking, who's talking. V'yesh le bezeh kavana. When a person talks, they have some intention behind what they're saying. There's a reason why they're saying it. There's a calculation. There's a message. There's something they're trying to get across. Shakavana hi behelim. But the intent is not what you hear. What you hear is the words they say. What they mean by it, what they're trying to get at, is not necessarily revealed. All that's revealed is the words. You have to get what are they meaning, what are they trying to say, what are they getting at. So, and that's in all speech. We're not just saying that you're hiding what you mean. Even any time you talk, it's not just the words that you're saying. There's an intent behind it. There's a thought behind it. But that is not revealed. What's revealed is the words. What's hidden is the intent. And the intent is the deeper part of it. My point is my point, not the words I'm saying, but the concept that I'm trying to bring across. So the real point is that which is hidden. And that which was revealed is the surface. So too with every letter has its pronounced sound and its hidden reality. The pronounced is the first letter in the spelling out of that letter. So Aleph is Aleph Lamed Pei. The Aleph part is what's pronounced, but the Lamed Pei is the inner meaning, the hidden reality, the deeper self of that letter. So from this we can understand. Now we can understand the fact that in the expression of the name Yud Kei Vav Kei, as it appears in the body, specifically in the body, and not in the soul, we find that you need to spell out the haze of Hashem's name. Must mean that in the body, the inner, real, deeper power of Yud Kei Vav Kei is expressed more than in the soul. This will be explained, but what are we saying here? This is an amazing thing. We said earlier in the Maamar, quoting the Rebbe, that Yud Kei Vav Kei, the name that Hashem gives His name to every Jew, He connects Yud Kei Vav Kei to every Jewish soul. And we saw that this means that the soul has the 4 letters of Yud Kei Vav Kei, and the body also has the 4 letters of Yud Kei Vav Kei. The soul has the 4 letters of Yud Kei Vav Kei, we said, because Yud is Chachma Shebenefesh, and Hey is Bina Shebenefesh, Vav is the midas, the emotions of the soul, and Hey is Malchus, which is the power of Kabbalah soul, of accepting the yoke of heaven. That's the Yud Kei Vav Kei in the soul, in the Jewish soul. Then we said, the Rebbe added, and in fact, the Yud Kei Vav Kei even comes all the way down into the body, into the Jewish body. The Yud is the head, the Vav is the body, the Hey is the fingers, and the last Hey is the toes. And the Rebbe said, and because we have 10, so we have to fill out the Hey, spell out the Hey to get the 10 fingers and the 10 toes. So the Rebbe says, so what does that mean? That means that the name Yud Kei Vav Kei as it appears in the body is an expression of the deeper level of Yud Kei Vav Kei, deeper than the expression of Yud Kei Vav Kei in the soul. Because the fact that you're spelling out the inner aspect of the 2 Heys means you're bringing the inner self and expressing it. A deeper level of Yud Kei Vav Kei is expressed in the body than it is expressed in the soul. How so? It has to be that way. Because in order for there to be an expression of Yud Kei Vav Kei, of Hashem Havaya, in the physical body, you have to dig very deep into Shem Havaya for it to be expressed so low. For Yud Kei Vav Kei to be expressed in the soul, not such a big deal. But for Yud Kei Vav Kei to be expressed in the body, that takes major, deep expression. You have to dig very deep within Yud Kei Vav Kei to find the energy to bring it down all the way to the physical body. So therefore, in the body is expressed the inner power of Yud Kei Vav Kei, deeper than in the soul.
When you mean the body, are you talking about Nefesh Bahamas?
Physical body.
There isn't
The head, the body, the fingers.
Isn't Neshama in the body?
Yeah, here we're talking about Yud Kei Vav Kei in the body. The Yud Kei Vav Kei is expressed in the body. The power of Yud Kei Vav Kei is in the physical body.
Last week you discussed.
It's deeper than the soul. So this is similar to what we explained earlier in the Maamar in Siv Gimel. Shebechdei sheshem havaya shebaneshama yeh begilui gam bislabshusa beguf hu alidei hamshachat ha'neichim malamai lahavaya. Earlier we already explained, for Yud Kei Vav Kei to express itself in the soul as it's enclosed in a body, that takes a very deep power, which we said was Anoichi, the essence of Hashem, that brings Havaya into Lekecha. If you remember earlier in the Maamar, we said that to say that the soul, as it's enclosed in a body, has the power of Yud Kei Vav Kei, that is already a major step. That Havaya should express itself in a soul is one thing, but a soul that's in a body, that's an amazing thing. That the soul down here in the physical world should have the power of Yud Kei Vav Kei. So he said that is only because the essence of Hashem, the very essence, draws down the power of Havaya into the body. Because you have to go to something higher. To bring the soul and the body together, Yud Kei Vav Kei, into the soul that's in a body, you have to appeal to a higher power, which is Atzmas.
For example, like when we say the Shema?
What do you mean?
When we say the Shema, we're sort of drawing down that,
Yeah, but here's talking about Hashem in investing in our soul His name. It's coming from above. It's not something we're doing. It's Hashem giving us His name, Yud Kei Vav Kei. How could He give us Yud Kei Vav Kei in our soul that's in a body? That takes a higher power, the power of Anoichi, which is the essence of Hashem. Now we're saying that as powerful as that is, now we're talking about something even more powerful. We're not talking about just Havaya being in the soul that's in the body. We're talking about Havaya being in the body, directly in the body. The power of Yud Kei Vav Kei should be in our physical body, not just in our soul, which is in a body, but in the body itself.
So there's no difference, really. Is it different? Or?
It's still different. Soul is soul and body is body. But even the body has an expression of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Even the body is aligned with the divine
that's revolutionary.
power.
Which is higher.
That must be even higher. That takes an even higher power. So this we have to understand. Well, we already said that to take Yud Kei Vav Kei and give that to the soul, which is in a body, that takes a higher power. So what's higher than that? How much higher can we go already? We already said the essence of Hashem, Anoichi, the very essence of Hashem, is what gives Yud Kei Vav Kei into the soul in the body. So what's the power that brings Yud Kei Vav Kei into the body? How's that higher? Into the body itself? How can we go any higher than that? That's what it's going to explain now, a fascinating idea. What's the difference between the two things? What's the difference between taking Yud Kei Vav Kei and joining it onto the soul that's in the body, or taking Yud Kei Vav Kei and bringing it into the body itself? What's the difference? Both of them need a higher power. So what's the difference? The chidush, the revolution that happens through revealing the name Yud Kei Vav Kei in the soul as it's enclosed in a body, is what's the revolution there? All the revolution is as far as the place where Yud Kei Vav Kei is being revealed. That Yud Kei Vav Kei is being revealed in where? In the body. In the soul, in the body. Meaning, and validation nimshich b'avaya b'bchinas anoichi shelamaylam avaya nimshich hagili shelalamata. Only through Yud Kei Vav Kei being drawn down through anoichi, the essence of Hashem, it can be drawn down into the body. So what are we saying? Yud Kei Vav Kei is a spiritual entity, is a higher reality. For spirituality to be revealed in a physical place is a chidush, is unusual. It's not its nature. And so for that to happen, you need a higher power, something that can override the nature of Yud Kei Vav Kei and draw it down into the body, into the soul that's in the body. So Anochi, which is the essence of Hashem, which is not limited to any definition, can come to Yud Kei Vav Kei and say, I know Yud Kei Vav Kei, you are a spiritual concept. You belong in the spiritual realms. But I'm putting you in the soul, even as it's in the body, so you're going to be in a place where it's not your nature. It's unusual. But I, Anochi, can do that. That's the first step. But the chidush, the revolution that happens in creating the shape of Shem Havaya in the physical body itself, not in the soul in the body, but in the body itself, that chidush is a change in Yud Kei Vav Kei itself. Not just in the place where Yud Kei Vav Kei is, but in Yud Kei Vav Kei itself has to change. Why? Because the name Havaya, which means that which is above the world, and the physical body, which is very much a part of the world, that is two absolute opposites. For the name Havaya, Yud Kei Vav Kei, to appear in the shape of a physical body, a head is a Yud, a body is a Vav, and the two Heys are the hands and the feet. You can't do that by just introducing a higher power to override it and say, you've got to do this. By introducing a higher power, all you can do is push a higher reality to remain in its form and go down lower to a different place. But you can't change the thing itself. But in order to get the Shem Havaya to appear in a physical shape of a physical body, that can only be done by revealing within Yud Kei Vav Kei itself a deeper level. Its inner self, its inner reality, which is the milui, the filling in of the letters of the name, the hidden letters of the name. And revealing that in the deeper sense, even Yud Kei Vav Kei itself is not limited in being spiritual, it can even express itself in the physical.
What do you mean it's unable to...
So let's explain. This is very intense stuff.
Yeah.
What we're trying to explain here is the difference between saying what we said earlier in the Maamar, which is that Hashem puts His name Yud Kei Vav Kei and joins it onto our soul, even our soul that's in the body, even the soul down here, not just the soul in the heavens before it comes into this world, or not just higher levels of the soul as they are beyond the body. Even down here in this world, our soul is in our body, and nevertheless, Yud Kei Vav Kei is a part of it, is connected to it. That's what we said earlier in the Maamar. Now we're saying even more than that. Yud Kei Vav Kei does not just attach itself to our soul, but it even expresses itself in our body. Our body is in the shape of Yud Kei Vav Kei, our physical body. What's the difference between these two things? What's the chidush in each one? So earlier in the Maamar we explained that for Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is spirituality, to enter into the world of physicality, which is our body, meaning for Yud Kei Vav Kei to be in our soul, even in our body, down here in this world, that takes an overriding of the nature of Yud Kei Vav Kei. You have to break its nature, because Yud Kei Vav Kei is a spiritual reality. Our body is physical. So for Yud Kei Vav Kei to be in the soul, in the body, that's not what it does. That's not its normal place. It's not where Yud Kei Vav Kei is found. So it takes a higher power, which we call Anochi, I myself, the essence of Hashem, that is beyond physical and beyond spiritual, to bring the two together. And to say, Yud Kei Vav Kei, I know you are a spiritual reality, but I'm telling you to go into the physical world. And I can do that because I, the essence of Hashem, is beyond physical, beyond spiritual, can bring the two together. But what remains? What remains is that Yud Kei Vav Kei is still a spiritual reality. The body is still a physical reality. The fact that they're together is not because the body has become spiritual or Yud Kei Vav Kei has become physical, It's because Hashem, who was bigger than both of them, who transcends both of them, put them together, made a contradiction, because Hashem can live with contradictions. That's the first level. But the next level is saying something much deeper than that. To say that the body itself is in the shape of Yud Kei Vav Kei, what does that mean? That's not that you bring two opposites and making them get on. You're fusing them together. The physical world is in the shape of a spiritual reality of Yud Kei Vav Kei. The physical body is in Yud Kei Vav Kei shape. To do that takes something much deeper. You're not just saying Yud Kei Vav Kei, I know you don't really fit in here, but I'm putting you there anyway. You're saying that the physical body itself should take on the shape of Yud Kei Vav Kei. You're fusing them into being one.
Is that what it means, the hand and the glove? Like it is a match.
Yeah.
Fits.
Yeah. But here it's the hand, not a glove. The hand itself is
right, but
5 fingers for hey.
Slide into it because
right, that's the soul. But here we're talking about the body itself. The body itself is Yud Kei Vav Kei. So how do you get that? That takes a totally different power. To come along and override Yud Kei Vav Kei's nature, that's not going to do it. You can't force Yud Kei Vav Kei to be what it isn't. You can force it to be in a place where it's not at home, but you can't force it to be what it isn't. So how can you get Yud Kei Vav Kei to appear in the body, in the physical body, in the shape of the body? Only by revealing that, no, Yud Kei Vav Kei, you don't understand yourself. You have got a deeper layer to yourself that is not limited to being spiritual. There is a power beneath, deeper within Yud Kei Vav Kei that is not limited to being spiritual. It can be physical too, because it has no limitation.
So is it like the top hay in the body, like the bottom hay, in a way?
What do you
When
mean?
you spell out hay, like they're a top hay and bottom hay.
No. Here the top. We're talking about the fingers. The top hay of the fingers and the bottom hay of the toes.
Uh-huh.
It's the body itself. So that's why we find that by the Yud Kei Vav Kei in the soul, it's just the plain old Yud Kei Vav Kei, just the letters Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey. But the Yud Kei Vav Kei that's in the body, you have to bring the milui out, the inner aspect of the Heys. Because we're going deeper into Yud Kei Vav Kei to reveal that it can fit into the body as well.
It's really like hay.
Yeah. It's a bit like this, that to get somebody to do something that is against their will, that they don't want to do, or it's not their type of thing, it's not their nature. And here we're not talking about just to be mean. Let's say you're a teacher, and you're trying to get your student to expand their horizons, and to do something that is out of their comfort zone. So there's two ways you can do it. A teacher can come with the authority of a teacher and say, you need to do this. I'm telling you to do it. That's what you have to do. And so you tell this student that even though this student is somebody who's never tried to paint before, because they think I'm not a good painter, and the teacher can tell them, no, you have to go and paint. You have to do it. Why? Because I said, and I'm the teacher, my authority says you have to do it. So then the student is now going to paint or whatever it is, even though that's something that's not their thing, they're not used to it, but you find this student painting. Why? Because the teacher said. Now, that may or may not work. The student might just go along because they have to, and they do it. They'll do it, but it doesn't mean that anything has changed. You've just got this student in an unusual situation, painting. They never did that before, but it doesn't mean they're going to change. There's a different way of doing it, and that is to tease out of that student an inner power that they have that they don't even realize they have. To show them that they can do it. To show the student that you think you can't paint, or you think you can't sing, or you think you can't write, or whatever it is. But in actual fact, you can. You just don't realize that you have that power inside of you. And if you can do that, if you can inspire the student to discover inner powers that they didn't realize they had, so then it's not that they're reluctantly going along to do what they have to do. They're full-heartedly there. They're present in there because they can do it. You can be there. That's the difference between telling somebody you have to do something or telling somebody you can do it. Tell them they have to, so they'll be there, but they're not really there. Tell them they can do it, and they'll want to. So here as well. When Hashem sends Yud Kei Vav Kei into the soul that's in the body, what's He doing? He's saying Yud Kei Vav Kei is a spiritual reality. The soul within the physical world in the body is in the physical realm. It doesn't really make sense to have Yud Kei Vav Kei in the body, in the soul that's in the body. It doesn't make any sense. But Hashem doesn't have to make sense. He's higher. He's the high power. He can decide that Yud Kei Vav Kei enters the soul in the body. And so indeed, our body houses a soul, and that soul has the shape of Yud Kei Vav Kei. It has Chachma, Bina, Midas, Malchus. It has the Yud Kei Vav Kei in it. Our soul has it. It worked. But why? Because Hashem displaced Yud Kei Vav Kei, forced Yud Kei Vav Kei to go into the physical body, in the soul in the physical body. Yud Kei Vav Kei didn't change, it just changed address. It came down into the physical world. That's the first level. But the second level is not only does our soul have Yud Kei Vav Kei, but our body has Yud Kei Vav Kei. Our body is in the shape of Yud Kei Vav Kei. A head, a body, fingers and toes. Yud Kei Vav Kei is in our body. How does that happen? That's because Hashem reveals that Yud Kei Vav Kei is not so limited after all. It's not so limited to being spiritual. Yud Kei Vav Kei can enter the physical world as well. Why? Because inside the deeper level of Yud Kei Vav Kei has the power of essence in it, has the power of Hashem's essence. Yud Kei Vav Kei is not some separate entity around the corner from the essence. It is an expression of essence too. On the deeper level, Yud Kei Vav Kei is an expression of Hashem's essence. And just like Hashem's essence is not limited to physical or spiritual, so to Yud Kei Vav Kei, on a deeper level, is not limited to physical or spiritual. And so therefore, even the physical body can be in the shape of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Or putting it in other words, even Yud Kei Vav Kei can come down and express itself in the physical world, in the physical body. How? By revealing its inner essence. What is the inner essence? The hidden letters of the name Yud Kei Vav Kei. Not just hey, but hey, hey.
When we're talking about Yud Kei Vav Kei, are we talking about it as representing like godliness, Hashem?
Yeah.
So like with the Torah Maamar, when Hashem created the world, is it similar?
We're going to get to that. It brings that in because it's different. Torah Maamar is more tzimtzum.
It's physical.
Is not revelation. Yud Kei Vav Kei is revelation. We'll see that. We'll see that's going to come in.
Does essence have a name, or
Anochi, I myself. It's beyond a name. Beyond
the
a
Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur called what name?
Yud Kei Vav Kei.
Really?
It's like when he Tchias Amazing, it's through Yud Kei.
Yeah. Any calling, any name is limited, on some level. Okay. So is that clear? More or less. Let's continue in Hay. So the Rebbe Marash then continues in his Maamar, upon which this Maamar is based. The Pirush Vadaber Leimerhu, Shabbat Torah Nitna Koch L'Chol Echad V'Echad Yisrael, Shekashe Yikra B'Torah Yakadosh Baruch Hu Kodesh V'Sheina Kenegdo. The Rebbe Marash explains that when it says before the Yisrael Dibros, Vadaber Elikim is Kol Advarim Eila Neimar, that Hashem said all of these things saying, what does that mean? That at the giving of the Torah, Matan Torah, the power was given to every single Jew that when we learn Torah, Hashem reads opposite us. He reads along with us. That's what Lamer. Remember, that was one of the explanations of the word Lamer. That what's Lamer? That when we learn Torah, we're telling Hashem to say it with us, and He says with us. When we sit and learn Torah, Hashem says the words with us. We draw down Hashem into the Torah we learn. A similar thing applies to mitzvahs, by the way. That when we do a mitzvah, we cause Hashem to do that same mitzvah. In the spiritual realm, Hashem does the mitzvah as well. And whatever our mitzvah achieves, it also Another thing it achieves is that Hashem does the mitzvah as well and draws down whatever blessing that is to us. So when we learn Torah, Hashem learns along with us. When we do a mitzvah, Hashem does the mitzvah with us, as it were. The power that every Jew has, that when we learn Torah, we can make Hashem do that too. He can learn Torah as well. And that when we do a mitzvah, Hashem does the mitzvah. Our power to cause Hashem to do something. It's because Hashem said Anochi Avaya Lekecha. But Hashem put in us this koyach of Avaya, Yud Vav Kei. And so therefore, we, as it were, pull the strings. When we learn, Hashem reacts and learns with us. When we do a mitzvah, Hashem does it. That's what it means, that Yud Vav Kei is in us. That we have this direct line that influences the divine powers. So top of the next page. So we could say, we could say that in the Rebbe Marash's Maamar, all the things that he explained in order to introduce this concept, that when we learn Torah, we cause Hashem to learn Torah with us, which means the fact that we are so bottled, nullified to Hashem because we have His name in us. And also the fact that the power for Yud Vav Kei to be in us is from the essence of Hashem, because anytime you want to draw something low, you have to draw it from much higher. They are similar to the other interpretations of the word lamer that we said earlier in the Maamar. We'll see what this means. The pirush b'lamer, we said earlier, the explanation of the word lamer to say, that one of the interpretations was that lamer, the word lamer means that when we learn Torah, we are simply saying the words that Hashem is putting in our mouth. It's not our words that we're saying when we learn Torah, it's Hashem's words that is being said through us. What's being emphasized there is that we are totally nullified to Hashem. There's no you when you're learning Torah. There's nothing separate from Hashem. It's just Hashem speaking through you. Yeah? And the other interpretation we said was that Vaidaber Lakim is called Advarim Eila Lemer means that Hashem gave us the Torah, Vaidaber, the Seres Adibrus, that we should draw them into the Asara Mamaris, into creation. What's being emphasized there is that we have to take the highest level and draw it down into the lowest level. And the fact that in the Rebbe Marash's Maamar, these concepts are brought as an explanation to understanding the word lamer, that when we learn Torah, we cause Hashem to learn Torah with us, is because all the interpretations of the word lamer are connected, are intertwined. Okay, let me just explain what we've just said. The Maamar is going to continue and go into it much deeper, but just to understand the words we just read. We are learning a Maamar from the Rebbe that he said in the year Tafshin Chavtes, 1969. This Maamar is based on a Maamar of the Rebbe Marash, said exactly 100 years earlier in Taf Reish Chavtes, in the year 1869. In our Maamar, the Rebbe's Maamar, he said at the beginning 3 interpretations of the word lamer. Right? If you recall, by Dabar Lakim is called the lamer. Usually what lamer means to say to others. Hashem told Moshe to say to the Jewish people. Here the entire Jewish people are there. So what's lamer? So he said one interpretation is that when the Torah was given, something revolutionary happened. The word lamer is to tell you what is the revolution of the Torah, of the giving of the Torah. One explanation is after the giving of the Torah, when you sit and learn Torah, Hashem says with you. He learns with you. Lamer means when you learn Torah, you're learning Torah, lamer, to tell Hashem to say it as well. So when we're learning this Maamar, Hashem is learning this Maamar with us. He's saying the words of this Maamar together with us. That's the first one. The second interpretation is, you know what the revolution of the giving of the Torah is? That when you're learning Torah, you think you're reading. No, you're not reading. Hashem is reading the words. He's just through your mouth. That you're just responding to the divine voice. A bit opposite of the first one. It's not that Hashem is really saying the words, and it's just going through you. You are merely a conduit for the divine wisdom that is being said. You're the mouthpiece. But it's Hashem's words really, not yours. That's the second interpretation. The third interpretation is, Vaydaber Elikim is kol hadvarim, that Vaydaber is that the 10 dibros, the Seres HaDibros, were given, Lamer, in order to draw them down into the Asara Maamaris, which is creation. That what happened at Matan Torah is the power to take the divine word and insert it into the physical world, bring it down into the world. Yeah? That were the three interpretations that the Rebbe quoted on the word Lamer. In the Rebbe Marash's Maamar, he doesn't give three interpretations, he only gives one, which is the first one, that he says that when we learn Torah, Hashem responds. We have the power, when we learn Torah, to cause Hashem to learn that Torah with us. Now, in order to understand that, the Rebbe Marash gives two concepts to understand what that means. One thing he says is that Hashem invested in us the divine name. Just like an angel has Hashem's name connected to it, so too we have Hashem's name connected to us. And just like an angel is totally nullified to Hashem, so too we are totally nullified to Hashem. We have the power of bittul. And that's how we're able to draw down the divine word, because we're bottled to Hashem. That's one concept that Rebbe Marash explained. Another thing that Rebbe Marash explained is that the power to take Yud-Kei Vav-Kei and bring it into the physical world and into the physical body has to come from a power higher than both, from the essence of Hashem, because the lower you want to bring something, the higher the power must be to bring it down. So the Rebbe points out, those 2 points that the Rebbe Marash uses to explain his interpretation are similar to the other 2 interpretations of the word Lamer. One of them is talking about bittul, the other one is talking about drawing down light into the lowly world, which is exactly our 3 interpretations. That bittul, so we actually brought the 3 interpretations as one. The word Lamer means that the human being, the Jewish soul, has the power to learn Torah and cause Hashem to learn with us. How do we have that power? Because we have the power of bittul. Hashem's name is a part of us, so we're totally nullified to Hashem. When you're totally nullified, you can draw Hashem down. Which is, what does it mean nullified? That Hashem's voice is speaking through us. And how did we get so nullified? Because Hashem's name is given to us. How did that happen? Because the essence of Hashem drew down the divine name all the way down into our physical body. Because the lower something is, the higher its source must have come from. Which is the same as the concept of Vaydaber Lamer, bringing the Seres HaDibros into Lamer, into the Sar Maamaris, bringing the highest light into the lowest world. So all 3 interpretations actually have come together as one. How, and in detail, we'll see Mitzvah Hashem in the next section.